Nicks and Bruises, we are back. Shout out to the chat. Yo, Black is time. And I guess it's time has run out, right? The deadline is over. You know, I know a couple of guys is breathing a sign of relief. You know what I mean? A couple of guys is happy with their new homes and new destinations. But yeah, we're gonna talk about it all, Knicks in particular, but we're gonna talk about some things that went on around the league as well, because some of these things may or may not affect the Knicks as well. Got my guy DJ Shadow in the building. What's good, DJ?
All aboard, we here, man. It's a trade deadline edition. So, like you said, some guys is doing like this. Some guys is like, I'm happy to be out of here. And some guys is like, damn, I thought I was leaving. You know what I
that's a,
mean?
that's a fact.
It's
Now
mixed, what we call
they gotta wait to
mixed
the
mixed emotions.
off season now. They gotta wait to the off season now. But let's start with the Knicks for sure, because that's what we hear about. Jose Alvarado, new addition to the Knicks. I know there's plenty of Knicks fans out there that have been, you know, calling and clamoring and hoping he was one of the guys that we targeted. Um, yeah, Yabusele out the door. That's another one of the main guy that everybody wanted out the door. So I guess we killed two birds with one stone. I think we had to give up 2 second-round picks in the second trade. But yeah, what's your thoughts of both things? Yabusele out the door and Jose
Well,
Alvarado in.
well, you know, Yabusele pretty much did little to nothing. It was an ultimate disappointment, and sorry that this money was spent on this guy and not on somebody else. Just really call it what it is. As far as Alvarado, it went from looking like a luxury, and do we even bother to even need something like that, to now we can't really talk about him in isolation because now Deuce is out, likely for the remainder of the regular season. So this went from being, do we really need it, and a luxury, to, you know what? All right, good. We got a veteran here. Whether he's comes to bench off the bench prior to Kolick or after Kolick, at this point, at least you got somebody with some NBA experience, playoff experience, and you also get somebody that's gritty, that's tough, that's got a New York attitude. He's from New York. So yeah, I'm just happy to have some fire brought to the team, because it's like I don't know, like if the Knicks were a rapper, like the Knicks would be like backpack rappers. You know what I'm saying? They would be like the conscious rappers. You know what I'm saying? And yo, if you go on stage with DMX, if you on stage with MOP, if you on stage with Onyx, you're gonna need a different kind of energy. And the playoffs is more like DMX and that kind of hardcore energy, especially. So I'm happy for the balance that he brings a little bit more for the team with that kind of energy and attitude. Whether he plays a lot or not, he's gonna still bring that attitude.
Yeah, that's a good analogy with the rappers. I had one myself. Let me start off by saying I've never really been the biggest Jose Alvarado fan, right? Like I see he's a gritty guy, he's a headsy guy, you know what I mean? Um, Energy guy, things of that nature. So I was talking with Sim, and I'm like, it's like when you trying to hook your friend up with a girl, and he's like, "Yo, tell me about her." You start talking about her personality. You know what I mean? Like when you start talking about he's an energy guy first before anything else. You know what I mean? Like it's because the attributes are limited. But all that being said,
Anybody that could get under Chris Paul's skin is my kind of guy.
fair enough. Fair enough. I mean, like I said, he's a gritty guy. You know what I mean? We've been talking about we need some grit on his team. You know what I mean? He's like a little. He's a
He's a
little
solid
enforcer.
defensive player though.
You know what I mean?
I mean, listen, considering what the team was going to lose with Deuce being out right now, granted, Shaman has stepped up and he's been playing some good defense. Um, Having another guard that can be an on-ball attack defender is, Shaman has been better on defense, but more like shooting guard if you need some more forward defender. He's not you're not
Point
going
of
to put
attack.
him against Darius Garland. You're not going to put him against, you know, was Maxi from Philly. You're not going to put him on those type of players. Alvarado is somebody you could put on those type of players. Some of those last minute of the game, we need to stop right now. We taking Brunson out type of switches, and you got those players on the opposition. You can put Alvarado on those guys with some level of confidence.
That's fair. That's fair. Um, again, like let me shout out to the chat. Walter White, he says, hopefully we could get some size on the buyout market. That was one of the other knocks, or one of the reasons why he wasn't necessarily high on my list. 6 foot flat, you know what I mean. But again, he can guard up, so that is an attribute. You know what I mean. Not everybody in the NBA can guard up. You know what I mean. So even if he's on a switch, you don't necessarily consider him a target, a targeted player. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, New York native, you know what I mean? Brooklyn native, you know what I mean? Got that grittiness, like we said. Uh, Puerto Rican descent, you know what I mean? So it's Los Knicks night. It's gonna be
Los
crazy
Knicks, let's
with
do it.
the Dominicans and the Puerto Ricans. We here. I see y'all. You know what I mean? You know the jersey sales is gonna go up.
Oh,
He's
it's
definitely one
crazy.
of those one of those guys that you like to have him on your team and don't and hate him when he's not on your team. Pesty defender. And like you said, in Deuce's absence, you know, shout out to Deuce, get well soon. Uh Sports hernia. I don't know if he had the surgery, but or is having the
Having it
surgery,
Monday.
but
I think it said Monday.
Monday's the surgery. So yeah, he's potentially out to the playoffs. We're gonna need, we're limited in defensive mindset of guys. You know what I mean? You add Shamit to that list, but prior to him coming back, it was 4 guys that you could pinpoint as plus defenders, and we just added another one, and we've been well with Deuce's absence, winning games. You know what I mean, despite his absence, but that doesn't mean he's not sorely missed in certain areas and aspects of the game.
Another one. Now,
That's right.
now you mentioned about personality and not his game. So I got his stats up. He's only 27 years old. He'll turn 28 this year in April. For his career, he's averaged 20 minutes a game. He's never played less than 15 minutes in the season. And last year, he topped at 24 minutes per game. He actually had 23 starts last year out of 56 games played. This year, he's played 41 games, no starts. He's averaging 22 minutes a game. For his career, he's a 41% field goal shooter. He's averaging 35% from three, 76 from the line, 2 rebounds a game, 3 assists a game, and 1 steal, and only 1 turnover, and 8 points per game. So not bad for someone who's known more for his defense than his offense.
Yeah, I was actually looking at his numbers earlier, and I actually was surprised. You know what I mean? The 22 minutes was more than I thought he was playing this year. You know what I mean? The numbers across the board were a little higher than I actually expected. But I gotta be transparent. Like I said, the most I've watched of him ever throughout life was clips. You know what I mean? I've never really sat down and watched the uh um Hornets game, the Pelicans game like that. Um, here and there catch some Zion, but yeah, I never really watched too much. I seen the clips, I seen the heady plays, I seen the highlights and things of that nature. So let's see what he could bring. But yeah, we're gonna need his presence in Deuce's absence. I do want to talk about last night's game a little bit. Eighth win, another one, like you said. You know what I mean? Um, right at that number where I was looking for us to, come back with 8 out of 10, and they gave me eight straight. I can't even, you know what I mean? Sean Richardson, if you out there, if you catch the replay, we was jumping the gun a little bit. I'm a admit it. You know what I mean? We was going a little crazy on that losing streak, losing stretch. But yeah, we right in the ship. Good win against a good contender, right? You know what I mean? Who have been playing pretty well despite their injuries. So yeah, man, would you take away from that game is it's a lot of individual accolades. You see in the title, I say Cat channeled his inner Josh Hart, got bloodied up, came back, and actually had what I thought was the most important stretch of the game. We were down seven, came back, had an individual 7-0 run, then had the assist to tack it off to give us the lead. And I thought that stretch really rightened the ship of the game for us. Everybody knows what happened after that double overtime. Um, yeah, what was your thoughts of the game overall?
Well, I agree. That was the pivotal point of the game because he had his Willis Reed moment. Went to the locker room, got bandaged up after he left with blood all over his face, all over his shirt. And as a crowd that's out there that probably has quite a few people that have been like, Cat suits off, he wants too much. And you have that kind of narrative out there. You got people in the crowd that see you with all this blood. Oh, it's like, oh, wow, now you actually got people that want to be on your side. And after that, you have the nerve to come back. Like, he could have waited till halftime and then came back in the third quarter.
Which
He
I
didn't have
thought
to.
was going to happen.
I was like, is he coming back? Number one, typically stitches, that you will come back, but why come back with a couple of minutes left? Just heal up, put some ice on it, make sure his band is good, come back in the third. But no, 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 no. Your boy Cat came back to game to New Jersey. You understand what I'm saying? He had his Willis Reed moment, and he came back out there, and it ignited the crowd. And I think those are the type of plays and times in the game that, like, it just takes some of the energy away from the opposition. And I
Hmm.
believe that's exactly what happened, not only for that game, but I just think that it rolled over into the second half. And unfortunately, it went to overtime. Unfortunately, Bridges with the bonehead play had to go to double overtime. But, you know, listen, what you going to do but get the win? When it's all said and done, it's still a victory, regardless of how you look at it. Thankfully, it was a blowout the night before, and this is why it's important to get blowouts when you can get them, so that
Hmm.
you can rest as
That's
many
the thing.
players as you can. And now, when you have to play extended minutes, 48 minutes, 47 minutes, is not as taxing because you had a break the night before.
What did I text you at the end of regulation? I said, yeah, I hope Bridges can have an impact in overtime.
Yeah, he had an
And
impact
he
already.
had the bowhead play. I'm like, that's not the impact I was referring to. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
shout out to him for putting us up seven with the big three
And
with
that
like a
block
minute
shot,
minute and change and the block shot. I don't
the
think
block shot was key.
they didn't credit it as a block for some reason. But
Oh
yeah,
wow, it looked like
yeah,
the
I don't
block
know
to
if they
me.
called it deflection or whatever, but
That looked like a
yeah,
block.
it did. It did. I thought it should have been a block. You should protest it. But yeah, big defensive stop and the big three to put us up seven with like a minute and change. You know what I mean? Redemption. Great to see from him. Um, he's been up and down. You know what I mean? He had a 30-point game and then game like this with eight shot attempts again. But when other guys are stepping up, you're allowed for other guys to have a night off. You know what I mean? Like that's what I was saying in those two games with Brunson and Cat not having huge impacts offensively. Other guys stepped up. So now, you know, obviously Brunson came back and was in his original form. You know what I mean? Allow Brunson to kind of chill a little bit.
Yeah, now he
Um,
definitely he definitely gave us typical expected Brunson. and as the saying goes with Bridges, when you need him to give you 12, when you don't expect anything, he'll give you 12 points. When you want more and you need more, he still give you 12 points. So, it just is what it is, man. I've kind of I've just like I'm not
Lower
gonna
the
be
bar.
hard on it. I'm not gonna be hard on him, but I've just brought down my expectation level. And listen, be there, which he is, play some good defense, which he typically does, be smart, which he typically does. And when it's your turn and you have a great game, great. And I'm thankful. And I'm not expecting 18 points anymore, 20 points. I'm not expecting it anymore. You know what I mean? Just give me one or two steals, give me one or two blocks, play smart, be in the right place at the right time for the most part, and keep Brunson happy. I've kind of just lowered my expectations.
Yeah, my only issue, honestly, with Bridges would be it feels like his teammates have more confidence in him than he does in himself at times. Um, and again, I do like the fact that he will still take the shot, but it's because his teammates is out there still going out there and finding him. It's not because he's out there just saying, "All right, I'm gonna make the next one." Like I just don't like 8 shot attempts. Like even when you shooting bad, which most times he's not shooting bad. You know what I mean? He'll be 4 for 8 in most of those situations. You know what I mean? And I still be saying I need 10 shot minimum from you every night. You know what I mean? Make that a priority. But I will say this about Bridges in the past couple of games, you've seen him try to bang it on somebody going strong to the hole. You've seen him go in and take contact going strong to the hole. Now it's not numerous times a game, but baby steps. So I see that aspect of his game kind of improving too, where he's not avoiding the contact every single play. You know what I mean? So I'm looking for that from him moving forward. Let me shout out to my guy JB Jason Benjamin with the super chat. Appreciate it. Salute, fellas. Like I continue to say, this team is resilient and continues to prove you cannot count them out. Don't care about the loser streak. They respond. And shout out to you again because you and like I said earlier, Sean, you was one of the guys. Hey, chill out. Y'all bugging. You know what I mean? It's the dog days. I don't believe in dog days, but you know what I mean? Y'all right. We here now. You know what I mean?
One thing, Tony, I'm glad that came up because I was thinking this. I wanted to let you talk and express what you're expressing, but there was one thing that I forgot to mention. The 8 games, like I'm ecstatic with the 8 game win streak. Very, very happy, especially after going 2-9. Love the fact that you beat a top 5 team in the Denver Nuggets. It's all great. But if you don't win at least one of these next 2 games, it will be a little deflating. And if you lose both of these next 2 games, it'd be very deflating because the truth is Denver's not in your conference. You got to get to the NBA Finals. You need to have home court advantage. In an ideal scenario, you close some ground on Detroit, maybe try to get this number 1 seed. And at worst, you want to make sure you put some distance between you and the Celtics.
Mhm.
And at worst, you secure the number 2 seed. Don't want to be in here at the number 3 seed if you don't have to be. So, yeah, if you can't win one of these next 2 games, um, it won't be the same. Because I'd rather have lost 1 or 2 of those games and then win these 2 games. I'd rather have lost 2 other games
The,
and win these 2 games.
these next 2 games are right now the two most important games of the season when you look at it in all the things that you just pointed out. Trying to catch Detroit, who have a good lead on us, but I don't think it's insurmountable.
Correct.
And we got the Celtics as well right
Neck and
after
neck.
that. Who
Neck
I
and neck.
think we got the lead now. But we're not tied anymore, right? We in the second seed.
Well,
Um,
with the win last night, it put the Knicks a half game ahead of Boston.
so
No,
it's
no, no, tied with Boston still.
oh,
Boston,
still
they
tied.
had a game last night. and I believe they won last night.
Okay. So yeah, we still tied. Again, two most important games of the season. And shout out to you, man, because you was pointing this out a couple days ago. Last time we was on together, how this stretch right here, Denver, you know what I mean, Denver.
This was
Um,
on my calendar from like 3-4 weeks ago. This was on my calendar before the losing the 2-9 streak.
yeah,
I was
yeah,
already looking at, wow, damn, we got three of the top 5-6 teams in 1 week. This is what's going to show you where the team stands. To me, this is an indication of what you can expect for the team going into the playoffs, playoff positioning, and playoffs is still the playoffs, but these are the games who you're going to be measured against. Top teams in the league.
hmm and we got to send a message to Detroit. You know what I mean? Like they've been literally calling us out. Don't care who hears it.
30
You know what I
point
mean?
blowout.
Saying they want us in the playoffs again. I mean they want us. Um, they they showed they wanted us that first game. Yeah, man. This is the big game. Shout out to JB again with the super chat. He says, "I think our boys will be ready for the Pistons tomorrow." I hope so. I mean, one thing you can say is this is the best stretch we've been on all year, right? And it hasn't been perfect. You know what I mean? Like, but
And
this is
players have been out.
definitely the best stretch that we've been on. So, yeah, it. I don't think they've been looking ahead, but now it's right in front of us. So I agree. I think it's definitely going to be a better showing. It's going to probably look more like the playoff series last year than anything else, and come down to the wire. What I do love though is, you know, even when Brunson's having his bad games in clutch times, he's still Brunson.
Nah,
You know what I mean?
he doing his best impersonation of Randall holding the ball, but he's scoring.
And while we're here, since we're talking about the Pistons and that's the next game, and we're the trade deadline has just ended. I know they made some moves. Um, what do
Yeah.
you think of their moves and how much of an improvement maybe does this add to who they are so far this year, or you know what I mean? Is it a minor move, low risk move, high
Well,
reward?
they
Because
they
they got
get
rid of Ivy, right?
yeah, they get rid of Ivy. Ivy, I mean, I think there was a lot expected of him coming from his draft class. I remember that was one of the draft. That might have been the last draft party, right?
Hmm.
But the Ivy
Yep.
draft, and many people in Knicks fandom from the Nothing But Knicks draft party wanted the team to jump up
Trade up. Yep.
and get Ivy. So um, I get it. Like, the guy's, athletic. He has some good games actually against the Knicks. But you know, I think that on this team, the way Cade has ascended, the way Durham has ascended, the way uh, Thomas has ascended, the way Harris is steady, and Duncan Robinson is scoring, and of course Isaiah Stewart, even Karis LeVert coming over, doing his thing. So it's almost like, you know, not to say that he wasn't needed, but they could get by without him at this point.
And
And
they add who they added Herder.
yeah, and they added Herder. So I mean, he had some good seasons with Atlanta, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Um,
Yeah, he had
is
some
that
good
where he
seasons
came
with
from or the
Atlanta.
Buck?
Then he
Yeah,
signed with
yeah, Atlanta.
Sacramento
You're right.
as a free agent. I mean, he's a 37% field goal, shooter for his career, but he shot as high as 40 one season, his first season with Sacramento. And I just think that, they looked at what they were as a team and said we could use a shooter more than
More
Ivy's
than
athleticism. because we've got Cade, we've got Thomas, we've got Durant. We need somebody for them to kick it out to other than Duncan. Duncan's, a little older, a little longer on the tooth as far as the shooter goes, but they got somebody else that they can kick it out to and catch and shoot. So
Make it
uh,
more dangerous, in your opinion?
I think that it balances the team a little bit more. And if anything was their weakness, I'd say outside shooting is probably their weakness.
Address the
So
weak. Yeah.
yeah, so they addressed the weakness. So you got to say at this point, Detroit is still the favorite in the East, and until the Knicks beat them, and until the Knicks ascend closer, or take over the number one seed. Right now, you got to still look at Detroit as the number one seed.
I mean, I do think that they addressed the position of need. Um, I don't like the way we lost that last game, so tomorrow will help me definitively say, all right, I'm not worried about Detroit, or I shouldn't say not worried because I want to give them their respect. But that series last year was too difficult for comfort for me. You know what I mean? To definitively be like, and you look at them this year and their improvements to definitively be like, all right, I'm not worried about them. You know what I mean? So we need to return the favor, um, and blow them out by as much as possible. In my opinion, to change my opinion on a potential matchup with those guys. Come playoff time, because they gave us everything we could handle. You know what I mean? Every game that we won could have been a loss, and it was a tough fought series, and it was heroics that got us through that one. You know what I mean? Now we play better in the next series against a seemingly better Boston team, but yeah, they wasn't a walk in the park. So you gotta give them their respect. I'm looking forward to this game tomorrow for sure. Um, how much do you think Alvarado moves the needle at all for us? Because honestly, with Deuce being out, it increases the need for him for us. I agree with that one. But if we were whole, I didn't really see a definitive spot or role for him. So it's a couple part question. Do you see him automatically leapfrogging Tyler Kolek in the respective rotation and pecking order? That's going to be interesting. Him at 6 foot, do you see him playing with a two guard lineup? Because you know what I mean. Like obviously, one of the things we're lacking is size. So yeah. What's your thoughts going back to that? Like how much can you think he helps? How much does he move the needle? Um, what's your thoughts?
I think first thing, if Deuce is not injured for the length of time that he is, and the Knicks staff not knowing that, and the Knicks staff knowing that, they likely don't do this deal. If they would have made Alvarado as part of you know, get two players, trade out three, get three players, trade out four, something like that, then um, sure. I don't think that he comes in first, second game and is the first guy off the bench. I think they're going to give Kolek every opportunity to hold it down. I think Alvarado will be situational unless you know Kolek is not performing well, and we'll see when the playoffs come. That's what I'm looking for. When the playoffs get here, does he get enough reps with the team to to be the point guard off the bench? It's the playoffs. He's got a little bit more experience than Kolek. Actually, he's 6 years in the league or 5 years in the
Mhm.
league. So I would expect the team to make a gradual introduction and gear him up to be ready to be the point guard off the bench first by the playoffs potentially. potentially. But I think Kolek's, you know, he's been a little bit inconsistent, but he's offered so much when he's been good that I can't see them just completely just pulling his minutes and giving him a shot to say, hey, listen, right now we need you, step up, show us you the guy.
Mm-hmm.
And when it comes to the small ball lineup or small guard backcourt, I definitely see Kolek's shooting being a little bit more. If you got to pick who's the better shooter that you want in there, with Brunson, also the better passer that can set Brunson up, not to mention the rest of the team, I think Kolek is going to be more aligned to be that guy.
To play with alongside Brunson as opposed to, and um you don't see a world. I don't see a world, but you don't see a world where Kolek and Alvarado are on the floor together.
Nah, not really. Nah, because
I don't
you got
I don't
Shamit
either.
off the bench. You can bring Bridges back in. Like, why? Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean,
Now,
you know,
what I will say this though, Shamit and Alvarado defensively and pressure wise in the second unit, I do like the way that what I mean theoretically sounds. Obviously with Deuce not here for sure. Like I do like the way that sounds. Full court pressure by Alvarado, which he kind of does, in my
nah,
opinion, naturally.
he's a one man. He's a one man full court press.
Yeah, yeah, but what I'm saying is it's not instructed by the coach. Like no,
He
that's
yeah,
certain
with the
guys. That's
baseline,
just
the
what they
baseline.
do. Yeah. So
Not
so I do
like
like that.
and you combine OG with Mitch and Bridges. If you put that five out there, that's a pretty
That's
strong. That's a pretty strong defensive five.
yes, yes. So um, I said it earlier. I was talking to Sim behind the scenes. I'm like, I don't know if he moves the needle, but the fact that Deuce is out and that opens up an opportunity, I think, lessens some of the glut. He may have a chance to move the needle. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
there's no telling what kind of vigor or kind of like uplift he gets from just being home, playing amongst family. You know what I mean? The community behind him. You know what I mean?
yo,
Like
listen,
it's gonna
I
be.
need y'all.
He's
I
definitely
need y'all
gonna
to
be
bring out.
a fan favorite.
I need y'all to bring out the tamarines. Okay, I need y'all to bring out the whistles. I need y'all to bring out the oh gosh, the
The
we need to
Shakers.
hit it like it's carnival. We need to hit the steel pan. We need to hit the steel pan. Even if you can't bring them in the arena, I need them outside the arena. I know
It's
it's
gonna
cold.
be there, bro.
I
It's
know it's
gonna be
cold.
lit. Yeah.
It's the beginning of February, so y'all got a little time. Get it all together by March, though. We need everybody outside. Let's go New York City.
It's gonna be lit. It's
Uptown
gonna,
coming downtown. Uptown coming downtown right now, or Midtown actually. Uptown coming Midtown. I can't wait. Flags. I need Felipe Lopez energy right now for Alvarado.
it's gonna be
Let's go.
Dykeman on fire and
Let's
Grand
go.
Concourse on fire.
Let's go. Washington Heights. What's up?
Rush to Heights.
What's up?
Oh man, I can't wait. I love it. I love it. What else? What else we got?
We got Jason Benjamin on the super chat.
There we go. My guy JB, appreciate you again. He says Towns and Bridges put so much play so
Place.
much better when Kolek is on the floor. Kolek still needs some minutes, in my opinion. Also, I wouldn't mind Kyle Anderson on the buyout. That's actually exactly where I was going next. Not Kyle Anderson in particular, but interesting take, and I'm gonna respond to that. But I believe we saved enough money that we could sign a vet minimum free agent come March or maybe before March.
Yep.
So it's gonna be interesting. Now, granted, I think there's restrictions, right? They have to have been coming off, like if they're coming off the buyout, it can't have been over the mid level. So
I believe the salary is like 14 million or something like that.
14 or less, right? That they it couldn't be making more than that to otherwise we can't sign him. So,
Like
so
Chris Paul.
I don't know what Kyle Anderson was making.
He wasn't making that much.
Um, and I don't know if he fills the void in size. I can't imagine he's taller than 6'7". I
I
don't.
think I think he's 6'8".
Oh, he is 6'8".
Yeah,
Um,
I'm pulling it up right now. 6'8".
okay,
6'8", small forward / power forward.
but skill set, methodical. I do like what he brings. Even what I mean. He
Kyle
definitely
Slomo. Kyle
throws the
Slomo
deep, yeah,
Anderson.
throws the defense off with all that.
This
But
guy.
it's effective. You know what I mean? Like it's like Slim Joker. You know what I mean? Like he throws people off with the with the slow intent. So I wouldn't mind him either. He wasn't on my radar, but that was the question I wanted to bring up to you, Shuttle. Potential, now that free agency is over with, pardon me, the trade deadline's over with. Any potential buyout candidates that you would be interested in? And I do want to throw this out there because I've been talking about this too. I think obviously it's off the table now with the signing we or the trade we just made, but Alvarado. But you mentioned Chris Paul. I thought him on the buyout would have been a good option. Obviously, that's off the table. But any guys on your radar for buyout candidates that
Uh,
that potentially could fit in that money
one name
range?
that one name that came up who's not on my radar is Lonzo Ball.
Mm. Shout out
He's
to
not
Sim.
on.
Sim was actually interested.
Not on my radar. Um, I mean, I haven't really seen any bigs. Chris Middleton might be a buyout candidate.
He makes too much.
Okay, that's right. He's at
Yeah,
like
because he
30
would he would
million.
have been number one on my list.
He's at like 30 million, but he's kind of big and slow. Doesn't really play defense. It's not really the type of guy I think that the Knicks need anyway. To be honest with you, um, yeah, I'm looking at a list of possible candidates. I mean, it's all guards. It's all guards. Um, no one's on my list. I'd have to. You caught me off guard with that one. I ain't doing any homework on buyout candidates.
So thoughts on oh, here comes some names in the chat as well. But thoughts on Kyle Anderson. Appreciate you, JB.
No, he's the type of guy that played with Greg Popovich and was a pop favorite. So that's the kind of guy you want from a above the shoulders perspective. He's not gonna come in and rock the boat, things like that. Yeah, I saw Cam Thomas, but that's not a fit.
It's another guard too.
Yeah, that's not a fit.
I mean, he a
Boucher,
bucket for sure.
nah, yeah, he definitely a bucket.
Hey, and I like Clarkson. But if we replacing him with Clarkson, shh,
Yeah,
bro.
Thomas don't play no defense though. So
If we replacing him with Clarkson,
uh, I mean, third string not really getting no minutes, just in case, break in case of emergency. I guess. Boucher is that the big man from
yeah,
Boston?
Toronto,
Oh,
and
Toronto.
he
Oh,
was on
oh
Toronto.
yeah,
I don't
yeah,
know if
yeah.
that's where he was this
I
year.
feel like that. He was
There was
somebody that was
talks
on the.
about him with the
Wasn't he on
Knicks.
the radar?
Yeah,
Um,
yep.
yeah, he was already on the radar.
Hmm.
Yeah, he is on Boston.
He's on Boston.
Yeah, he's on Boston.
Okay.
Yeah, he
No, I'm saying
this
he was on Toronto though. That's what.
he played on Toronto before, right? He was on the radar when he was on Toronto.
Hmm.
So yeah, I seen this guy. He made headlines the other day because they had a game and the team was up by like 15 or something, and he's the one that took the shot with the clock running down, and Westbrook ran up on him.
Mm.
You didn't see that clip, huh?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, Westbrook wasn't even playing, ran up on him with the white hat, the white gloves, the the white bubble. Like, yo, you don't do that. Yo, you don't do that. It was like,
Actually,
yo,
I think I did see it.
yeah,
I did see it.
yo, listen, he don't play, but he's just trying to get some minutes, trying to get his average up. He got some bonuses. He's like, all right, all right, all right. So, but
I wouldn't be mad at any one of those three guys, to be honest. Uh,
Boucher at number one overall because
I,
he's got the height, he's got the
he does,
size to give and help an area of weakness on the team.
yeah, small ball five even. To be honest, um, I don't know if I would pick him over Kyle Anderson only because basketball IQ. You know what I mean? Like Kyle Anderson has played in some big games, big playoff moments. You know what I mean? Like he's kind of been there. As crazy as it sounds, Boucher is still like a upside thing at this point. You know what I mean? Like he got a
I know we ain't talking about
variety
his
of skill
upside at
sets, but
33 years
nothing is
old.
definitive. Say that
I know
again.
we ain't talking about upside at 33 years old.
Well, again, I said it with a caveat. Like not maybe that's the wrong word. That's why what I mean, not upside, but he does a lot well. He's almost like Precious. You know what I mean? In a sense, not the same skill set, but you know what I mean. Like you got to
A
deal with
raw
some
unpolished talent.
limitations. There you go.
Yeah.
Oh,
No,
oh.
but he
Walter White
hustles.
says
He
we could.
hustles. He goes for shot blocks. You know, he plays hard on defense. Things like that.
Yeah, for sure. But you got to live with some mistakes. Walter White says he heard we could sign a vet immediately. We don't have to wait the 2 weeks or whatever it
Yeah,
is.
I think with the savings, with that you
Oh
get
yeah, we passed half the season.
right.
That does make sense.
So with the savings with Yabusele to Alvarado, even though it doesn't sound like a lot, it could be enough to sign somebody because now you're signing them for half the season. So what would have been 2.3 million is now only 1 million
Yeah,
maybe.
yeah.
So um, you know, I think 1 million might be available in the tank.
Um, what about in house? You got McCullough Jr., who I know Sim's a big fan of converting to a standard contract. Um, he would probably be the lead on the list. But
Nah,
Mike Brown likes Jameson.
well, I mean, maybe you could help. Maybe you could help me out. Um, I'm concerned about Diawara right now.
Concerned?
Yeah, because he he only has a contract for this season.
Oh, you concerned in that aspect? I think they will figure something out before they lose him. I think they'll figure something out before they lose him. Does that and can you not extend off a 1 year?
He signed an Exhibit 10 contract September 15th. So basically, he signed for this year only at 1.27 million. There's
Yeah,
no
I hope we don't lose him. To be honest,
there's no team option. There's nothing.
but that doesn't mean you can't give him an extension, right? Or you
Yeah,
can't.
I mean you could definitely sign him, but I don't know if it means that other teams can't sign him.
I mean, they can't sign him until the season's over.
Yeah,
So, which
yeah.
which again, we should still have first dibs, is what I'm saying. Like, depending on who his agent is. Um. Oh, the next. All right. Who's this? Oh, I'm sorry, bro. I don't know how to say your name. I'm a butcher it. But
Nah,
salute.
we're just gonna call him Lux for short. I mean,
uh,
the way he jacked up Diawara's name, you know what I mean? We're gonna call him Lux Walker. Lux Walker. Salute to Lux.
you said
Not the
Diawara
loaded
signed
one.
to the rookie extension, and the Knicks have his qualifying offer.
Okay.
So let's hope that is accurate. And shout out to JB again. He said Diawara ain't going nowhere. Too much upside, in my opinion. I
I don't
agree.
want him to go nowhere.
Yeah, no,
I'm
he's
just
saying
worried.
he's concerned. He's
Yeah, I'm
worried.
concerned about him leaving because listen, Tony will tell you he was my top of the season prediction of player that you expected little to nothing and was gonna do something. He was my prediction. And I don't want to lose this guy. Of all the young players, Kolick, Daddier, McCullough, Hug Porty, and Diawara is ranked number one
Hmm. Yeah,
for
yeah.
me.
I literally was just having that conversation with Sim as well. Shout out to the Podfather, man. Yeah, I just was telling him that like he's the one that got the
He's the
most
can't
upside
lose.
to me.
Second round pick.
Or Sherwin, shout out to Sherwin. He said, we got smaller and worse off defensively. Um, we did get smaller, but what was Yabusele bringing defensively?
He was barely playing.
At his size, what was he bringing defensively? So now, granted, we out with Deuce right now, but I like the defensive impact that potentially comes with Alvarado. You know what I mean? And this is coming from one who I was not the biggest fan of. Um, he also says um, Terry's upside a lot higher than Alvarado. Now you talking. Now you talking something that I could potentially agree with when you say we lost the size. I got you now. I'm on the same page as you because I felt the same way. With Terry 6'5", um,
Six
I'm
six.
assuming he's younger. He was a 2022
Yeah.
draft pick, right?
23 years
Um,
old.
Probably has a lot more upside. I agree with all of that. Um, yeah, I can't even argue with that. I think Terry was somebody. Shout out to the Queen. I think she was high on him in that draft.
Mm,
You know what I mean? Like she was somebody that was on her radar. He can't shoot the ball for
really?
sure. Walter White. I know there's a clip going around of him, shooting like 5 for 6 or 6, but he's not a good 3-point shooter. I've seen some other clips of the announcer saying stick with what you're good at.
Whoa.
But yeah,
That's
he did
crazy.
have the size that would have been an upgrade for us. So in that aspect, Sherman, I do agree, but this is where we at. So I got to analyze what we did and who we are. What we have. I also think the thing with Terry is more upside, but is he ready to come in and produce and play and live up to that immediately? He could have been a guy on a team that we cultivate, you know what I mean, and grow. But we got a couple of those guys already. So that I don't know if he was ready right now to come in and impact the team. Um,
Well,
for
he,
long
he
term, maybe, but this is last year of the contract as well. So you can't even, you know what I mean? It's almost like you forced to play him to see what you got in that situation too.
I was excited about that pickup.
You
Uh,
was for
I was.
like 30 seconds.
Yeah, no, I definitely was excited about that pickup last night, this morning, and I thought like this is an ideal. All right, Bridges, you sit down. We got somebody to come in for you. I feel like he's more ready to contribute than Kevin McCullough.
Mm.
I like Kevin McCullough, and I'm not saying don't keep him and don't keep developing him, but if the playoffs started today and I needed somebody to go in the game to impact the game, and I had to pick one of those two guys, I'd pick Terry right now. And granted, he might not have been lights out for the first couple of years of his career. Um, the last, what was it? The last 8 games, 45% from the field, 53% from three. He gets steals. He plays good defense. He's one of those guys that do chase down blocks. And listening to him talk, because I had to start doing my homework,
Mm-hmm.
and I just saw some interviews, like very positive, very upbeat, very very much like a guy that would fit into the culture
That I was
of
just
the
gonna
of the Knicks team.
the
Like he
guys
didn't
they
look like
target,
somebody he
right?
would come and you'd have to be worried and concerned about. So that was also something I thought was a positive. And of course, I don't think Alvarado's an issue, but just speaking on Terry, um, and the last thing, Tone, is like the Knicks don't have anybody that's an above the rim player the way he is. So I'm just excited to get somebody
Yeah, yeah.
that plays NBA action. You know what I mean? It's fantastic. A little above the rim, a little Skywalker. You know what I mean? And
All,
all we got is 3-point shooters.
all the listen, all those things I thought about in the brief time that what I mean he was on the team, and
And
I'm
in,
like,
in,
all
in
right,
the
what am I
in
gonna
the,
talk
in the
about
nine
when I
hours he
do
was
the
here.
show? You- I agree 100%. And like I just said about Alvarado, I'm not the biggest fan of his overall anyway. But when you're on the team, you know what I mean. I'm gonna look at how you can help. But I agree with all those points about his size, athleticism, things that he could have brought to the team had he been on the team and in a role. You know what I mean? It's less of a glut at guard, especially undersized guards and all that. So I get it 100%. But you know, I still trust in Leon Rose as well. Alvarado's a guy that has been linked to the Knicks for quite some time. And I ain't gonna lie to you, a lot of people in the chat, because I've been reading it for so long, the chat, you know what I mean? At least half the chat was calling for Alvarado for quite some times as well. So let's see let's see what it is. Um 40 Scope says I like that name. Um he said, but he couldn't play well on the Bulls rebuilding squad. They were also guard heavy too.
Very.
But you know what I mean? But I mean, it's a fair point. And they were, had a couple undersized guards there as well. So he couldn't even use his size there as an advantage point to kind of get some minutes or whatever the case. Yes,
But
CAA. I think Alvarado is a CAA guy.
and back
Um
to Alvarado though, and in terms of acquiring him, again, in case you didn't get the report, Deuce McBride is out for the remainder of the season, the playoffs, until the playoffs, most likely, with the sports hernia. So, my humble opinion, this deal doesn't happen if Deuce is healthy. And for those of us that were thinking about acquiring Alvarado, um, prior to Deuce's injury, the thought was that either Kolick or Deuce might be in one of those trades, so you wouldn't have the gluttony of small guards. But right now, essentially, you can look at Alvarado as a fill-in for Deuce while he's hurt. And if nothing else, it, listen, who knows? Brunson might have to take time off. He may have foul trouble. He may need to miss a game. Kolick could be in a he's Kolick is not proven like that. You know what I mean? He may have another rough patch, and you might need to sit him. So you got to have somebody that can um that can play some minutes.
I got a
I
couple
don't know
more
if they're ready
comments.
to give it to they ready to give it to the rookie that just got called up.
Mm. the wing. Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if y'all ready to, to sit Deuce, you know, and play him. I don't know if y'all ready for that. Dylan Jones. Y'all ready
yeah. The
to? Yeah, y'all ready to?
OKC draft pick.
Yeah, y'all ready to sit Colett while Deuce is injured and put Dylan Jones in for point guard minutes? That's what y'all wanted. Be
Let me
careful. Be careful what you say out here.
Or we both could address this. He says, so I guess shout out to still the real AD. So I guess you happy the Knicks got a backup point guard, but a superstar and first ballot Hall of Famer is not on the team by the name of Giannis.
Yeah, I am
Um,
happy, AD, and you my man. And I'm gonna tell you, yes, I'm still happy because there's no way you're breaking up the team, sending two starters away at this juncture, this close, causing that's the type of move you do in the offseason.
and that's exactly where I was gonna go anyway. Like the only thing that would have made it disappointing if Giannis got moved. The fact that he didn't get moved, to me, nothing happened. So it's still a possibility, and we could prepare for it better, negotiate better. You know what I mean? You don't want to negotiate from a position of weakness. You know what I mean? Now, granted, a lot of other teams are going to be in the same position with the time and and gathering resources and things of that nature to make their pitch as well. So it's a more even or open playing field, and we may lose because of that. But the fact that he wasn't moved at all, how can you be mad? He's still on the team that he was on. So nobody else beat us to the punch. You know what I mean? And to Shuttle's point, because I was talking about it with Sim again. Um, who did the trade? I think a Charlotte trade. No, no. Um, the AD trade. Supposedly that same exact offer was offered for Cat, right? So Cat goes to where's Trey Young now? My bad, I'm drawing the blank.
Wizards.
Wizards. Cat would go to the Wizards, and all the assets that were sent for AD would have came to us, which maybe that puts us in a better position to go ahead and flip those pieces or flip some other pieces to go ahead and get Giannis with some more draft capital and things of that nature. But I still think we would have had to, because once that trade was done, we don't have. Yeah, you know what I mean? I don't know if they're going to take all the exact same pieces. So they might have said, all right, yeah, you got the trade draft assets, but now we want OG. You know what I mean? Or you got the draft assets, but now we want such and such. So who knows how much we would have potentially had to gut the team and then start from scratch, seemingly. If we're going to start from scratch, I'd rather do it in the off season where it's a full season of figuring things out than doing it in the middle of a season with championship aspirations. And Giannis is still out. The crazy thing is we might not even see him play again this season, because if he was not really hurt, um, and he was just using this as a negotiating tool, I don't think it's in his best interest or the Bucks' best interest to play him moving forward. So we might not even see if the injury is legit. I mean, if he's better from it, any of that moving forward. So I think it was too risky to go for Giannis.
And not to mention, if you don't get another center, shout to Mitch, by the way. Um, shout to Mitch, by the way, with the beast mode
I
dribble
appreciate that.
to with the dribble to the hoop. Shout to him.
I
But
appreciate that.
but
And the defense on both Jokic
Emery.
and Murray.
But respectfully to Mitch though, if you don't bring Giannis to this team with another center, and now you've got Giannis and Mitch as your starting power forward and center. Like I just don't think that that's a good pairing with Brunson. Assuming you have to give up OG in that deal too, which is probably what they're going to want because you don't have picks to offer. Thank you very much, Leon Rose and Mikal Bridges. You don't have any. You really don't have picks that's going to make it worth it. Um, now you got to give up OG. So you want to give up OG and Towns for Giannis, and now you want to pair Giannis with Mitch, and you got no backup center. You got no other center. That's what you want, AD. You my man, but I don't know what you're doing. You crazy right now. I would rather ride this team out and see what they can do this year. And if the team fails significantly, then you got to seriously look at it in the offseason.
And if we pursue him and fail to get him, I'm okay with that too. If we don't, if it's because we don't have the assets, or if we're outbidded, you know what I mean. Shout to Walter White. Well, Milwaukee's gonna take the best offer they can get for Giannis. They don't care about Giannis' feelings. This is a business. Only way he, the only way we get him is if he requests New York. I agree with that 100%. But I also agree with the fact that the best offer available is probably not going to come from us.
Right.
You know what I mean? And this the same way you talking about us waiting, you could say
Yeah. What's
OKC's
Milwaukee
waiting.
rush?
You know what I mean? They got the plethora of picks. If they don't win the championship this year, they can say, you know what, let's make this happen. Take the wheel for a second.
Yeah, there was a trade that was proposed with OKC, sending Hartenstein and like two or three picks. Um, and I maybe it was Lou Dort to to the Bucks. Um, OKC's in the position to offer just as good of a player trade, or similar to a player trade, as well as the plethora of picks from OKC. So, um, you know, like you said, Milwaukee's going to take the best offer that they can get, and they're not going to be the Mavs in the Luka trade. They're not going to be the Mavs. They're going to hold out for what they feel like is a respectful offer. And if let's just say if it was Town straight up and a couple of second round picks, I could see them bulking at that. And if it was Towns and a couple of second round picks, I could commend the Knicks brass for not wanting to do a deal that includes OG, which is likely what they're going to want. If I'm
or
the
even
Bucks, if
or
I'm if
even
I'm
Brunson, because
yeah,
that's where they're starting with. You know what I mean? Like if they say, all right, let's do Brunson, knowing the Knicks gonna say no. You know what I mean? But you always got to start high, or on the flip side, start low. You know what I mean? You never start with your best offer, basically. And if you're asking, you start with more than you potentially know you could get. My bad. Um, but yeah, I think any of the the Cleveland Cavaliers traded for James Harden, got rid of Garland. For years there's been questions of whether Garland and Mitchell was a match. I don't know if Harden necessarily is a better match. I would definitely say he's a better player though. So they got more talented, um, more dangerous, potentially, but all the questions haven't been answered. I mean, there's an argument that they amplified some of the questions that were already there with the disappearing moments in the playoffs and Mitchell seemingly never getting out the second round, I believe. Harden
maybe once.
only getting out the second round once, I think Harden, right? So, there's been questions about, if not individual player with Donovan Mitchell, but his teams, and then with Harden, his individual play in the playoffs. There's been question marks. So you combine the two. I don't know if it answers anything, but it does. I'm not gonna sleep on the move either. You know what I mean? What's your thoughts on that move? I mean, and it also could have been them saying, "Hey, I want to prove to Donovan, hey, uh, we serious about improving continuously." But what's your thoughts on the move, long term, short term?
Yeah, I mean, on the long term, I mean, on the short term, I think he's going to help close the gap this season with respects to the getting to a higher seed. I won't be surprised if they ultimately land at a 2 or 3 seed. I just wouldn't be surprised at all. Um, Now, does that translate into anything amazing in the in the playoffs? I mean, we've all seen Harden disappear, but while Garland has had moments, he hasn't necessarily become someone that you look at as a guy that is here for the big moments. So I I don't know. I feel like Garland's defense was good, and between him and Mitchell, it offered Mitch the opportunity to not have to be the defensive stopper, if you will, for opposing backcourts. And we know Harden is not the stopper now. It's going to be some matador defense, and and maybe Mitchell becomes more of a defensive player, which is what he was really coming into the league.
That's true. That's fair.
So maybe he taps a little bit more into that. It should be interesting. I mean, Harden finds people. He gets to the foul line. I mean, I've always said like he's overdue for a playoff breakout. Like you just never know when it could happen. I mean, he's still putting up numbers. He's still putting up assists. He's still hitting 90% from the foul line. If he's gonna still get calls, you just never know. So for the regular season, yes, I think it'll pay dividends. And instead of lingering around um, the play in, I think this will bump him up to probably a 3 seed if I had to put the house on it.
Mm. It's a huge
And
jump.
really, I don't think so.
Where are they right now?
They're 2.5 games behind the 2 and 3 seed.
Okay.
They're number 4 seed right now.
Okay.
So I mean, if Detroit is not insurmountable at 5 games, 2.5 games surely is
That's
reasonable.
that's fair.
And as far as a long term thing, there is an option on his contract, which is at 42 million player option for next season.
16 guaranteed though.
Okay,
And
so that
and
means
and I think just the James Harden part of it, you know what I mean? This is just James Harden being James Harden. The Clippers didn't want to offer him the extension, got mad, you know what I mean? Said, let me
let me
out.
go let me go try to get it someplace else.
And I'm gonna get it someplace else, because when you make that trade for Harden, you almost 100. Like you're not gonna not give him the extension. You know what I mean? So he's guaranteed to get. I don't know if it's gonna be a as huge as the contract he's been getting, but a long term, you know what I mean, extension to where this might be his last one. But he keeps doing this every time it's contract extension time.
I don't think he's gonna get a long contract.
I
I don't
mean,
think he's
instead of 1 year, which is what he has, I think it's gonna extend to 3.
maybe
Yeah, you know what I mean?
he's 36 years old. Um, he's 36 years old, bro. He'll be 37 when next season starts.
Or a 1-1, opt out with a 1-1. So again, you know what I mean? But
Nah,
if it was
he's
already at
definitely
40, what do you think the 2 years is gonna be?
he's going. I mean, it ain't gonna be more
Two
than what
years
he's doing.
60,
It ain't for him to get a 3 year deal or to get
3 year
anything
90. You know what I mean?
right for him to get those type of numbers. He's gonna have a hell of a playoff run. So
That's fair.
that's to be determined. But he's definitely at the point now where it's like, yeah, you score, but we don't need to spend all that money on you. Not for more than 1 year anyway. Like he's now reached 1 year deal.
So you agree with 40? It's a rental.
Yeah. It's 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 a potential. It's a to be determined based on how you perform. He if he doesn't do the guarding ghost or the Harding ghost in the playoffs that he typically does, then he will earn a 3 year 90, 3 year 100. He'll earn that. But truth be told, Garland had 2 more years at 42 and 44 million. So basically, they're up from under that contract. They've got Dennis Schroeder also picked up trade deadline for a fraction of the cost, for a fraction of the cost, and they could look at him potentially as somebody that could fill that role. They also got Keon Ellis from
Hmm.
Sacramento.
Hmm.
I'm not suggesting he could be a starter, but maybe he could be a starter for cheap for 1 year. You know,
Yeah,
maybe
they
that
made a
money.
lot. They made a lot of moves. It's gonna be interesting how fast it all gets integrated. But as you saw last night, I don't know if you saw them play last night. They smacked. You know what I mean? Like they without the new additions. You know what I mean? And just Donovan Mitchell and the rest of those guys, they still look like a formidable opponent. So if they can integrate these guys correctly and nothing, nothing messes up the chemistry or what they already built, they can be a lot more dangerous. I definitely agree with that. Um,
And for
but it's
whatever
hit or miss.
and for whatever it's worth, they said Harden allegedly had some issues out in LA that he needed to get away from. So that's a whole nother
Mm,
story. That's a whole nother story.
mm.
Mess
Man,
around.
stay out them strip clubs, man.
Oh yeah, yeah. Something else even worse than that.
Oh,
Um, but mess around though. He signed with the Lakers, go back home all season.
well, I mean, if the problems was there, they still gonna be in LA.
Well, assuming he's getting past that, or that's not really a real thing.
Okay,
Luca, and LeBron.
I mean, it's firepower. I mean,
But as far as this year goes, Harden don't scare you, and he don't scare me either.
shout out to JV. He said, it closes the window in his opinion for the Cavs, as opposed to extending it.
Yeah,
Uh,
good for the
it,
regular. Good for the
potentially,
regular season.
potentially it could. And I mean, but they still a dangerous team. Any other moves made in this trade deadline that you think directly affect the Knicks in the sense of this team got more dangerous? This team became more of a threat. Obviously not this year, but the Wizards with the AD, if he's healthy with Trey Young, I think that's a huge move for the future. But anything that you think affects this coming run,
I mean, Boston adding a big, they added Vucevic.
guy who fits their style of play too.
Yeah, hits threes. So, you know, like somebody asked about like a real needle mover. I guess he a huge needle mover? No, but I mean, he's 7 foot. He's smart. He hits threes. He still can get boards. Like
Def.
he feels a need for Boston, and if
Hmm.
Boston is already tied with you and your Knicks team, you got to say this is elevating the
Hmm.
team because as good as Anthony was, guard play was not their issue.
Hmm.
It was the lack of a big man in the paint that could also score, and it definitely brings some balance to their team, and I think it improves them.
Yeah, I think it improves them. I think it's probably the most underrated move so far for me because it puts them right back in their essence, in their element of you talk about they made the adjustment of moving on from KP. You know what I mean? They lost Al Horford and now they get a guy who kind of fills right into what those guys brought, at least on the offensive end. You know what I mean? So it's a void. It fills a void in a lot of holes that was missing. And you like you said, considering that they were already ahead of schedule or playing above expectation for the year, it was a quick pivot right back to where they was. Considering, and you've been saying this, if JT come back, even if it's on a off the bench 15 to 20 minutes a game, you added more. You know what I mean? They looking more and more like their old self. So yeah, I agree. Good replacement for
And low
the
key,
loss of KP and Al Horford.
the deeper they go in the playoffs, you know, the more the
Back to the
more
starting lineup, back to 30 minutes a game, all that.
I'm saying the more likely it is that Tatum could return.
Well, yeah, I'm already factoring in that he may return on a micro level. You know what I mean? Off the bench, 5 minutes,
I
10 minutes,
don't think he returns before the regular season's over.
mm,
But I
based
think
off the
that
standing, based off the where they are.
right. But I think that if this gets to the playoffs, then he's gonna be more. I think between him and the team, they may be more open to say, "Hey, well, listen, how you feeling? Like, let's ramp up the workouts. Let's get it more intense. Let's see if you really ready to go." Like, and then even he said, you know, he's not sure,
Yeah, he's
not not
contemplating.
not only because of his health, but because of how he would fit in with the team, which kind of gave me the impression that he wasn't that far away.
I mean, there's been rumblings for a long for a long time that he wasn't that far away. You know what I mean? Like there was rumblings that he could have been back already. Like he's already been practicing, let's say, or running drills, 5-on-5s and things of that nature. So I don't know how far away you are if you're already doing 5-on-5s. Um, yeah, I think that's it, man. I think we kind of covered everything. Anything you want to highlight before we get out of here?
Nah, just let's go Knicks. Um, you got to put Detroit in their place.
Big game tomorrow. Big game. I'm gonna be tired. I gotta work at 5:30, but I just gotta set an alarm so I could take a nap when I get home and yeah, get my popcorn ready. You know what I mean? Probably gonna have a couple of shots tomorrow for this one. Like, you know what I mean? Might even have to go in the other room on the big screen. I don't usually go out there, but
Big screen. Now this might be a big screen game.
I think so. I think so. I appreciate you, Shuttle Man. Appreciate you guys in the chat. Super chats always appreciated. Much love. Um, if Sim gets free early enough, I'll be on with him. But if not, I'll definitely be on the post game with Sim tomorrow. We need this win tomorrow, man. I ain't gonna lie. We get that one, all's forgiven. You know what I mean? Clean slate. No more Mike Brown slander. You know what I mean? Even though I think everything I said about him was fair, and a lot of it wasn't due to him. You know what I mean? I thought it was the position he was put in. You know what I mean? And that was coming regardless of who was in the spot. And I said that before we hired the coach.
Hot
um,
seat.
yeah, hot seat for sure. Uh, appreciate you guys in the chat. 40 Scoop, Kevin Berg, Fred Wong, Jason Benjamin, Wonder Woman. She was here early. Rondu. Who else we got? The coolest 718.
My
I
guy
hate doing this
AD.
because I hate forgetting people. Say that again.
Said my guy AD.
AD for sure. There you go. I just ran across it on the scroll through. Anybody I forgot, all the silent viewers, appreciate y'all as well. Until next time, yo, Blackest time. We are out of here. Shut up. Anything going on? Anything this weekend?
Oh yeah, we got the R&B brunch on Saturday, on Sunday rather. That's going down at the guest house with my guys. Early 12 to 4 vibes. And what we got coming up? I got a couple of Valentine's Day things happening. I think a comedy show on the 14th, another comedy show on the 21st. So if you like comedy, I'm definitely in the comedy circles right now. Best comedians in the city, across the country, all popping through. At DJ Shuttle NYC, stay in tune with everything.
No doubt, no doubt. We got another super chat with a question. Oh shoot, pardon me too. Don Cannon one, appreciate your super chat. He said, "Quick question: Do you think Alvarado's playing tomorrow?" I think if all's, hmm, I think we could use him if he's available. I think there's a chance we could see him for sure, just because of we got some tough guards to defend against.
And
So
some tough guards that will be playing against Kolick. And you know, like listen, you gotta make it where like you don't want Kolick to be like the mouse in the house. You know what I mean? You don't want him to be easy cookies. They put Thompson on him or something like that. I mean, unless you're cool with Brunson playing 42 minutes, it might be that kind of game. But Brown has definitely seemed to be, let's see what happens kind of guy. So,
I could always pull him.
yeah, he's not playing well. I'm going to just take him out.
You
But
know,
if he puts him in before Kolick, I would not be shocked. I just wouldn't be shocked.
I mean, I wouldn't either way. You know what I mean? Like, but I'm
Yeah,
intrigued by the decision he makes, or the way you know what I mean, because it's going to be telling. Does he value the veteran presence over the improvement and growth that you've witnessed in house? You know what I mean? Make it make sense. Appreciate the super chat. He says, shout out to Tony. Salute. Appreciate you. Shout out to DJ Shuttle. Shout out Tony and DJ Shuttle.
so nice,
Appreciate it.
so nice. He had to say it twice.
At the same time. Oh,
Yo, yo,
Ted Berg
yo,
said he doubt he
Clyde,
plays, but he
hold
hopes
on.
he plays.
Clyde was on one last night. Was it me? Was it me or was it just regular Clyde? It
I
seemed
think
like
Clyde's been on it since he came back. Since he
yeah.
came back from he was on vacation or something.
Nah. He do his end of the year, top of the year vacation every year. Like he's usually gone
Since,
for a good 30, 40 days.
since he came back, he seemed rejuvenated.
Mm.
You know what I mean? He seemed
Neophytes. Clyde
he
Frazier.
see he see like he's on his game. Like, nah, they not replacing me. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? I'm here for the run, like for sure. I love
Right.
Clyde, man.
Like it just like the bars was coming. I was like, oh, Clyde dropping bars tonight.
That's
I
called
mean, he always dropped
mid-season
bars,
form.
but I
That's
guess sometimes it's the quality of the game
that's a fact. That's
and
a
how the
fact.
and how the players are playing. So, you
That's a
know,
fact.
the quality of the game brought out the best in them.
That's a fact. Because I know sometimes he be trying to keep himself awake. You know what I mean? And the bad ones, like, and he gotta watch what he say. So when it's a good game, it be flowing.
Right. Now he was flowing. He was flowing last night. Whatever you did, Clyde, last night, that's how we need you to bring it, Clyde.
That's a fact, man. Um, Maybe y'all see me tonight on MBK. If not, y'all definitely see me tomorrow on MBK. Um, Again, Shuttle, I appreciate you. Salute to the chat. Appreciate all the love, man. I'm back on my grind, man. It's crazy. Last thing before I go, I'll tell you during that losing stretch that the Knicks was going on, I was literally going on what I'm gonna call like a losing stretch of my own. It outside in my personal, you know what I mean, endeavors. But all that got situated, you know what I mean, and it coincided with the Knicks and this win streak. Like, so it's just crazy how sometimes the the Knicks be affecting my life. Like, you know what I mean? Like when bad losses, I'm like, hard to sleep tonight, da 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 da. And it's crazy how this whole thing coincide, but they had nothing to do with each other. But as soon as the Knicks started winning, for some reason, some things started falling back in order. And I'm back, man. I'm back. I'm ready to get this thing going more consistently. I'm working on the phone lines. That'll be here before the season's over, and then moving forward. You know what I mean? The phone lines is going to be a intricate part of the growth of the channel. So yeah, man, a couple things to look forward to, man. But salute to the chat. Salute to you, Shadow. Salute to MBK fan. Um, yeah, we moving, we growing. And the new additions, Die Hard, he been MBK, but he back on the MBK channel, the Die Hard Hour. So check
Yep.
that out. Um, oh shoot, my apologies. I forgot the other show with my man Trey, but from Barbershop Sports Talk. But he got a show coming on MBK as well. So yeah, we got some things moving and shaking. All right, man. Appreciate you, Shuttle. Like I
Yeah,
said,
yeah.
until next time, man. Your blackest time. We out of here. Peace.